Good morning, everyone. This is the very first 7 Effect live show where Amy and I
are in the same place.
Are in the same place at the same time. So welcome to the 7 Effect morning show. I'm Jodie, one of the co-founders of the 7 Effect.
And I'm Amy, the other one.
And as always, what we're doing, we've got Kylie. Hi, Kylie.
Hey, Kylie.
How are you? What we're going to do this morning is share with you all of your top tips and lessons on life, leadership and lifestyle business. We are also coming to you live from the Stanford Grand here in Adelaide or Glenelg.
Yep.
And we're in the midst of our Ultimate Business Builder 3-day intensive, and we're going to introduce you to some of our Business Builder students, and they're going to give you a taste of the businesses they're making. Good morning, Jace.
Hi, Jace.
How are you? How's that hangover going?
Oh, you hungover. Oh, this is good. Look at how, we can get that hungover,
Yeah, we're here to wake you up and get you
going.
sorted out about life. So the first thing that we promised that we'd talk about in our email that went out to our community is the number one thing that you need to sort out if you want to build a lifestyle business. So I'm going to hand over to Amy. In fact, I'll flip this around and you're going to get to see our room where we're working. We're going to share some of the resources. So we'll do that. Look, there's some of our students. Hello, ladies. You're on camera.
I know. We've made them. We're going to get them on camera as well a bit more later. We're like, right, you're doing this and you're doing that.
It's like a roving show that they do on TV.
It is. If it's wobbling, it's because Jodie's got all over the place.
Because I'm laughing so much.
But yeah, so we actually went through yesterday and talking through the different levels or different steps. And when it comes to us with the 7 Effect, we've got our 7 elements of life.
Yes.
Because that is the number one thing you need to get sorted out first.
Your life.
You need to make sure you got your shit sorted.
Yeah.
So we work through the 7 elements of life, and that's where we have our one-on-one coaching as well as our ultimate goals clubs, all those sorts of things. And people in our Lifestyle Business Builder, we get this area sorted out first. Mm-hmm. So then you can move on to the 7 elements of leadership. And through that area, we work through seeing it's all about you and yourself as a leader and presenting yourself. From there, we move on to the lifestyle business elements. So they're the 7 elements that we then will work through, and that's in our Lifestyle Business Builder program and how we work with our clients on that level as well. But we've got Steph.
Yes.
Who's here with us today, and she's
Do you want to go and sit with
Steph is where she's at this level, getting really all of her life stuff sorted. So I'm going to go over to Steph.
Yeah, I'm following you.
And the roving camera. And we poor Steph, we've sort of like said, yeah, right, this is it. You're on. But Steph is she's going to share, but it's amazing what she's got as her business idea and what she's working towards. And really, it's the life stuff for you at the moment, and working through that. And you were talking through this morning, through the different elements.
Yeah.
What's your top tip on life, Steph?
So for me, it was looking at all the different elements of life and just picking one. The one that I needed to focus on, or I felt that I needed to focus on most. And from that, I started to focus and set some goals around that, and that just expanded it. So the one I picked was body, because I've set my one big goal, so that needed my body.
By the way, one big goal. Yeah. What is your one big goal?
My one big goal is to walk the Camino.
Brilliant.
In October. So
Tell us a bit about the Camino. Like, how long is that walk?
Yeah,
how intense is it?
So that's almost 800 kilometre trek through the north of Spain, from the French border through to Santiago. And to do that, I needed to work on my body, because my body at this point in time won't allow me to do that. And by doing that, I'd already done the brain stuff prior to that, to come up with the idea. And so from focusing on that, I then had to start to think just by default about the other areas. So if I'm going to really commit to this body goal, how am I going to find the time to do that? How am I going to organise my time? I then needed to look at, am I going to get a PT? Am I going to go to the gym? And where does the money come from? And then how do I fit that in with catching up with my friends and family? So that brought the love element into it, and I decided instead of catching up over lunch, we'd catch up at the swimming pool, or we'd catch up over a walk
I love it.
down the
Gets you
beach
to
or
think
something.
about doing things a bit differently. It's like, well, yeah, I want to catch up with my friends, but here's my one big goal.
Yeah.
How can I incorporate that into catching up with my friends?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, and then the more I started to work, like all these areas started to come together and I started to look at them, it just took me further and further towards my Camino, which is my passion.
Yeah.
So it brought them all together just beautifully, because I think we're all those parts are all of us. So we have to focus on all of them, but by starting at one, that's how you get all the others to come into line.
It's all unfolded.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And just give us a little bit of a plug, Steph, on One Big Goal. So you can follow the page and people can follow your journey on the Facebook page, One Big Goal.
Yeah.
But tell us about your business vision. What is One Big Goal going to do and who's it going to help?
So One Big Goal, my vision for One Big Goal is to help predominantly women who are in that maybe 40 to 60 age group. They're in a job or they're at home with children, or their children have left home and they're just stuck in a rut. And they just need to, they know they're ready to get out of the rut. So they're wondering what to do. Mm-hmm. So my business will help them look at what they can do, how to set a one big goal for them. Yeah. And one big goal for me is a massive big walk, but it doesn't need to be that big. And then the steps, I'll take them through the process and the steps to making that happen by using exactly the process I've used.
Love it. That's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Great. Thanks, Steph.
Exciting.
All right, Amy,
I'm
I'll
gonna flip
hand
over.
over to you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about leadership.
I've got the reins.
All right, so the next thing that we wanted to talk about was why leadership matters in a business. So as Amy showed on the whiteboard, we've got our 7 elements. We actually have these little tools. So there's the 7 effect circle of life, circle of leadership, and circle of lifestyle business. So these are really tools that we help coach people around. And talking about the leadership space, we have 7 elements of leadership that we coach people around. But what I've found, coming from a leadership space and being a leadership trainer and educator, is that is the big thing that holds people back from truly being able to step into being a successful entrepreneur or lifestyle business owner. Because so many people think like an employee. They're still waiting to be told, they're still waiting for permission. And so leadership really matters if you want to actually step into that space and say, right, I am in charge of my own destiny. I am 100% responsible for where I'm going. And I wanted to share with you, firstly, some of the exercises that we did, if you come over here, yesterday. These are some great questions to answer if you really want to step into that space of leadership. Because a lot of the time I think people forget what they've achieved. People forget what they're capable of. And people don't really value their own experience and their own story as an asset. So we asked everyone here yesterday to stand up and talk to this piece of paper, and it was a lot of fun, wasn't it? We got to hear We got to hear everyone's story, and I have to say that the stories in the room were quite moving. But these are good questions to ask yourself, is what is your experience or background? You know, where do you come from? What's your story? What are your personal beliefs, your principles, or your philosophy in life? You know, and it was fascinating to hear these ladies' different principles and beliefs in life. What have you come to know or understand about this world, or about leadership or life or health or whatever area that you want to work in? What are you known for? So I loved Helen's thing of what she's known for. Let's go to Helen. What are you known for, Helen?
I can't remember what I said now.
Big shovel.
Yes, the shit shifter.
Yeah. we had a great laugh yesterday because I'm known for someone who can cut through the crap and get straight to the point. It's like, let's have the conversation that everyone's afraid to have. And Helen cracked out laughing. She said, I was talking with a mate of mine and he said, you know what, you should start a program or call yourself the shit shifter because you just know how to shift the shit. And, everyone's known for something. So think about, what are you known for? Also, what are you on a mission to achieve or change in this world? So as a leader, it doesn't have to be, I'm going to change the whole world, but it might be just in your little realm with the organisation or the clients that you're working with in your business. What's your mission there? What are you trying to achieve or change? Another good question is, what problem do you solve? We always say at the 7 Effect, the number one thing you need to focus on if you want to get clients is not selling, is not being liked and all of those sort of things. It's not having a beautiful website. It's not having the best online marketing strategy. The number one thing you need to focus on is results. So you need to know what problem you solve, and finally, what results you deliver for your clients or you help your clients achieve. So when you can answer those questions, it's a great way to step into leadership. And speaking of leadership, let's come to talk to Helen. So Helen, do you want to introduce yourself to the 7 Effect community?
Yes.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Is this your first live?
It is my first live today.
Oh, today. We did one yesterday, did we, into the group, or you've done them before?
No, I haven't done one into the group yet. So hi everybody.
Okay, so Helen's joined the Lifestyle Business Builder program, and you're looking to coach around leadership and do leadership training, but with a bit of a unique difference. So tell us why you think leadership matters in the workplace and even in life.
Yeah, well, I think you can't separate the two, and that's where I think the traditional way that leadership has been taught in the past is that leadership is a work-focused thing.
Yeah.
We don't talk about, or we don't seem to have access to how does leadership really translate into life, and we'll get token kind of conversations around that. But we're not separate people, and if we are leading separate lives, well then I'd say that that's not a healthy life.
Yeah.
So for me, leadership is why it matters. It's about who you're being in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
So leadership is about, self to start off with. So everybody, how are they leading themselves, and what are the important areas in life? So like what Steph was talking about before with the goals and so forth, is what's important. So your health and well-being, and how you're looking after yourself and how that translates into all areas.
Yeah.
So because then if you're looking after self, then as a leader, how are you being as self as other?
Yeah.
So the important people in your life, or the people that you interact with, and that could be your family, that could be your work colleagues, but it could be where you buy your coffee every morning. How are you as the leader in the space of that? And
what vibe are you giving off? Or what impact are you making?
Yeah, who are you being and what are you creating in that space as a leader?
Yeah.
And then as self, as community. So who am I being? Because as I'm being, I have that impact and that infiltrates across into the community. So am I, what impact is that having because of my way of being?
Yeah.
So I think that really matters. And
it does.
For me, that's where freedom comes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I loved when Helen was sharing her story yesterday, you talked about that simple process of leadership being connection to self first, connection to others, and then connection to land, and that those beautiful stories that you shared with us about the importance of some of the things we forget are there and we can take for granted. So,
and they're the things that aren't commonly spoken about in leadership, and yet if we aren't being of those things, then what are we actually leading?
Yeah.
Where is actually leadership in that?
Yeah.
And I'd say that leadership isn't present there.
Absolutely, and leadership has got nothing to do with your title. In fact, I've worked with many people who are called leaders, but they're ineffective in the role, and leadership is very much more a state of mind. It's not a position, it's not a job, it's the way you think and it's the way you act. And you don't, a true leader doesn't wait for permission, they're leading. They're just in that zone.
They're just their way of being. It's how they're showing up, and that's why I use the coffee analogy, because you see people that are leaders, and they get on stage and all they're in their meetings and whatnot, and then they go in and buy their coffee and they're rude and they're obnoxious and they're not connecting. I'm too busy here, and I'm like, well, there's no leadership in that.
I've been like that before.
I mean, we all can be like that.
But it's terrible. But it's reactiveness. When we get stressed, we lose sight of what we're about. We just disconnect.
And
absolutely.
So we're not present to that person that's right there in front of us, who perhaps just wants someone to be acknowledging them.
It's not a good space. I definitely can be guilty of that. Less now, but when I was working full time in that crazy reactive space, you go to work, you put on this great show that I am a constructive, great, effective leader, I'm teaching, I'm training. Then you go home with your family and it's like, I'm a cranky mum, trying to find your bloody school shoes and your library bag, where is it? And it was just, you're disconnected.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point, is connection is core, is critical to who you are as a leader.
Yeah.
And when you lose connection to yourself and to your own heart,
Yeah.
then all that stuff just starts happening without even realising it has.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's really lovely, and this is a beautiful, thank you, Helen, this is a beautiful segue over to Mary, is when you follow something that you're passionate about and something that genuinely excites you, you don't actually need to be promoted to leadership, but what you find is people start seeing you as a leader and naturally wanting to follow you. And that's why I wanted to jump over and let's talk about now lifestyle business. So thanks for sharing with leadership. I'll grab another chair.
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs. This is Mary.
Hi everyone.
And we're all keen to become Mary's client. Mary's got an amazing story, but tell us a little bit about what you were sharing yesterday. Well, firstly, maybe tell us a bit about your passion and your business ideas, and then how you following that has just intrinsically put you in the role of a leader in other people's eyes.
So my big passion is property. I've done some property investing and really accelerated it in the last 14 months. So I've come here bringing with ideas around how I could create a lifestyle business because I'm encountering people that are stuck in terms of their own financial journey, and I'm finding that people are gravitating to me because of my success or my positiveness and my confidence, which obviously has been growing as I've been successful. And I'm finding people are stuck. They feel powerless. There's fear, and I don't have that. I've gone past that, and I just feel that I can contribute. There's something in that. My experience, both as a leader, I've been in corporate life for many years. I'm a project manager. These are skills that I'm applying to my investment, and I'm doing this. I'm doing my property investment full time. You know, so you encounter people that are time poor, may have equity or maybe a little bit of saving.
Lazy money.
So that's sort of a bit of a theme that's coming through, and they're just stuck. They don't know how. And they're looking for someone to guide them, maybe mentor them. And I think I've got those attributes. And I see this as a really good opportunity to turn this into a lifestyle business.
Absolutely.
And I suppose sharing my journey, because it hasn't always been... there's been learnings. I mean, I've made some mistakes or they haven't cost me financially, but I've learnt, and these are stories that I can share and help people,
That's right.
succeed.
And I think a lot of people are where Mary was 14 or 18 months ago, working full time, got some lazy money or equity or something that's not working for you, but then either held back by fear, as you were saying, or just simply not knowing what to do or where to start. And you've now got some runs on the board, but what we're going to be doing is teaching Mary how to use our Goals Club model and create her own Goals Club around property and getting that money working for you. And through experience, it's not about Mary becoming one of those people that says, hey, I've got this deal, now buy into it. But it's about, let me show you the skills of how you can turn your own lazy money into wealth.
And I think also... presenting my journey, my stories, that they can learn as I'm doing things, and learning by seeing someone in action rather than a guru on a stage. That's a bit impersonal, or it's very expensive.
We were also talking about how so many people go and buy those expensive property courses, the $5,000, the $10,000 or the $30,000 thing, and then they go away and just get busy and forget to do it. So you really want to be that mentor and coach to say, all right, let's not let that be wasted money. Let's get the actions happening.
And things that I've learnt is the value of goals, the value of planning, getting your A team, and accountability. Accountability to yourself and to others, and just that I think would really provide a platform, a foundation, to help people move forward. Even if it's small change, a bit of improvement. Work within people's, I suppose, some constraints, because that's the reality for some people. They might be, starting on their property journey, or they may be recovering from, a financial setback, and they're trying to rebuild. And
there's a lot of people out there, particularly in the baby boomer generation, where you go to a lot of these property conferences, and they're all the baby boomers going, sugars, I haven't got enough super, because super wasn't a thing that was necessarily looked on, or they lost it in the GFC or whatever, and now what do I do? And they might be crippled by fear or overwhelm or I love all four of us have said we want to come and join your goals club. I think it's great, but it just goes to show all sorts of crazy ideas could become a lifestyle business. And it goes back to, we've been throwing this quote around thanks to my beautiful papa, who has since passed, but when I was a kid, everything I did, whether it be make him a milkshake or create a Father's Day card for Papa, and he'd look at it and he'd go, oh, gee, Jodie, that's the most beautiful card. I tell you what, you should start a business selling these. And, when Papa was very, very ill, and he actually passed from cancer, and his body was withered away, but his mind was as sharp as a tack. And I remember his very last Father's Day, because he was like the king of the family, and his very last Father's Day, I made him the Jamie Oliver roast pork with crackling, because that was his favourite roast pork meal. And I made it, and Papa was sitting at the head of the table, and I think he would have been in a wheelchair by then, and he wasn't well at all, but he always got the first slice, and we sliced it off, and lo and behold, the very first thing he said is, oh, I tell you what, Jodie, that's the best roast pork I've ever had. We should start a restaurant selling this roast pork. And he just saw a business opportunity in everything, and it's such a wonderful conditioning that I have thanks to my papa. It's a wonderful legacy he passed on to me. But it's a good way for you all to think, there could be a business in all sorts of things. Your property passion, Helen's interest in leadership, Steph's pursuit of one big goal, Amy and our goal club, Amy and my goal club idea that now has turned into our business, which is spanned off into all sorts of interesting things. So let's flip back to Ames now, and she'll wrap up with her crazy idea around.
Well, it's funny.
Well, it's not. Is it a business? Would you call it? But it's going to be some great tax-free money.
There'll be some good things happening. But I guess that's the thing of being, working so much with Jodie and having Jodes as my best friend. It's like, oh well, what else can I make money from? What else can I do? And I just think we live in this time where the opportunities are endless, whether, there's things online you can do or however you go. So Jodie's sharing her Airbnb. You'll stay tuned on the Facebook page on ours, because I'll be sharing, I start a reno next week, which will be very exciting, but I'm renoing our little apartment down at Glenelg so that it can be put on Airbnb, and beachside guests will be coming along. So that's so Helen, you might get some feedback on things like that, because we've got this investment, and we're at the stage where my husband and I, we've got, several investments, but now it's like, okay, we can't, but, we've reached sort of our borrowing limit for now. We're capped out.
How many properties you got? 4?
4, and our house. So that's also as well, which, will leave me in a minute. But, so now it's like, well, how do we make more money off what we've already got? So I'm looking at spending a little bit of money on the Glenelg apartment and then flipping it into an Airbnb opportunity rather than, a full-time or permanent renting. So stay tuned for that. So that's another opportunity where I'm like, well, okay, we've got these things. How can we leverage that even more? Yeah. And I do I'm a bit of we've got this house now that we live in, and it's costing us a fortune. We've got one of those big mortgages, and it's an asset but a liability. We have the dream to, that Aussie dream of owning your own home, but it's not money that's working for us. So I've started to think, well, how can I convert some of this. So there's a garage out the back, and it's like, oh, what can I do with this? Because it's just sitting there. So the long-term goal is that'll be, converted into a granny flat, and, we'll go down that path, and I'll be annoying Helen about that, no doubt, because she's looking to do it to Mary, sorry, we'll be looking to do it at her place. So, yeah, Mary, I'll be, what do I do? But we've got a couple of students that are going to be moving in with us come the second term of the year. So I was talking to another one of our clients, Sue, who's got 2 students living with her, and I was like, oh, what do you do? How do you do this? And we were talking about it, and it's a way of generating income, and it's tax-free income that you get because it's a government initiative. And I thought, well, we've got 2 bedrooms at our house that are just basically sitting there because it is just my husband and I. They're empty and they're just full of crap that we don't need, that I've been trying to clear out for forever. So we did the photos, did the application. We had an assessment the other week where they came and had a walk through, and I've just had a couple of phone calls this week. So we've got a gorgeous young girl from France coming to move in with us, and another gorgeous young girl from Japan who's coming to move in with us. So they've got initiatives. So there's obviously, it's a bit of an adjustment with things as well, but it's like, well, why not, and give it a go and just see what happens. So
and Luke's already practicing his Japanese.
Luke's singing me happy birthday in Japanese. Not my birthday at all, but that's all he knows. So Luke's the husband, by the way. I got him on the show last week, but yeah. So I saw him yesterday and he just started singing. I was like, I know the tune, but what do you say? Yeah. And so that's what he knows. And he's actually really excited. I remember I was sharing with the guys and I came home, because this is what I do. Yeah. I get home and I'm like, so honey, I've been thinking. Yeah. And straight away he's just like, yeah. And I was like, well, I've heard about this. And I was like, look, we could just get 1 student and just for a short-term stay and just to see how it goes and see if it fits with our lifestyle and how it all works. Like, what do you think? I'm like, softly, let's just, broach this subject. And he was like, oh, well, if we're going to have 1 student, we might as well have 2. Yeah. And I was like, brilliant. That was the result that I wanted, because it is the thing. It's like, well, if we're going to have, 1 teenager move in with us, we might as well have 2. So I would definitely encourage people to have a look, even where you've already got something, so it may be the investment property that you've already got, how can you leverage that even more, and look at the Airbnb type options or student accommodation if you've got that room in your house that isn't being used. If your kids have moved out and you've suddenly got a bit more space and you haven't sort of downsized or anything yet, then seriously look at that as an opportunity, because that's then passive income each week that you can build on, and that might give you the always put that away in the side, because like bonus money, start saving that and can help you maybe get another property, or goes into your super fund, or
pays off your mortgage,
whatever it'll do. Yeah.
Great.
So jump on board.
All right. Let's flip this around. We can all jump in now to wrap up the morning show. Thank you, ladies, for coming and joining us. Can we see?
I'll just move around. Yep.
Yes, you move around. I'll just get out of your head. Out of your head. So, just to wrap up, the number 1 thing you need to focus on, or you need to sort out first before you even think about building a business, is, do you want to do that? Is sort your life out. And remember, leadership does matter, so step into leadership. If you do want a copy of those things, in fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll take a photo of those
I was going to take a photo and share it.
And we'll post that below.
Yeah.
And any crazy idea, not that your ideas are crazy, they're awesome, but any crazy idea could be turned into a
It might be, if you think it's a crazy idea, it's actually probably not.
Yeah.
So those times you're like, oh, I've got this idea, but maybe not. Actually, it could be a really great idea.
So thank you everyone for joining us. It's wonderful to see you all here, and have a wonderful weekend. We've got to get stuck into now the next stage of building our businesses, and we're actually doing the design phase, designing all of the tools to help these ladies grow their business and their community. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
See you.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you everyone.